Welcome back. And joining us for our second conversation is ASP Alejandro Cowo from the Belize Police Department, here to talk to us about the missing person policy, how we can be more aware about it, and best practices that we can, implement in our society. Good morning, ASP Cowo.
Good morning, and thanks for this privilege and opportunity you have given us for the Belize Police Department to inform our public as to what is the policy that we use, that we are mandated to follow up in regards to any person that is reported missing within the country of Belize.
Okay. So let's start off with some numbers to be able to understand the scope of this issue. How frequently do you have persons reported missing within the police department?
Well, it is something that it does happen regularly. Mm-hmm. We must know what is the difference between a runaway and a missing person.
Right.
To begin with, a runaway person is a person that leaves from his house or either from school or from somewhere with some sort of clothing and other belongings. And after checks have been made by the family, they know that the person had prepared a suitcase or something, and they knew that the person was about to leave. Mm-hmm. And that person sometimes communicates with other family members, and there is some kind of communication between them. So we call it a runaway case. Mm-hmm. We have information of the person is there, so we are sure that the person is still alive. Mm-hmm. In comparison to the missing person, where all of a sudden the person leaves from the house around the school, and nobody knows, has no information in regards to that person. That is the difference there. Okay. Yeah. The person leaves without any bag or any belonging. All his belongings at home, or probably all the school bag still at school, and other items, no? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that is the main difference there.
Yeah. Okay. And in going back to the number of cases per day or that you typically would have per month, what is the average? Reports
to the best of my knowledge at this moment, the Crimes Investigation Branch has 15 reported cases of missing persons. Mm-hmm. Some of these reports are made at the CIB, Crimes Investigation Branch. Okay. Other goes to the Domestic Violence Office. Okay. Right? The DVU, that deals with the runaway and some of the missing persons, and the Crimes Investigation Branch deals with the missing person likewise. No. Okay. Our numbers is showing that we have 15 for this year so far reported at this Crime Investigation Branch, and we have 33 runaway and 31 missing at the Domestic Violence Office. So that is our number. For Belize City only.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But most of these cases, the person have returned. Yeah. There's a small number of the person that are still missing at this time.
Okay. Yeah. And has there been an increase over the years?
No, it is almost follows the same pattern every year, the amount of persons.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now the role of the police when, let's start with the runaway, because I think that's one that people are very judgmental about. What does their indicators that it's perhaps a runaway? Do you still intervene and attempt to locate the person?
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's a person from school. Mm-hmm. We go to the schools, we speak to the teacher, the homeroom teacher, maybe the principal, the friends, and if we can get information from other family members. Not inquire if I have a boyfriend or another friend or something like that. Some of them normally go with other female friends for the weekend and other things that the family is not aware, no? Yeah. So we try to gather as much information as we can from the different family members and friends, so that we can determine where is this person. Sometimes we have access to, the communication, the internet and everything right now. We use the social media. Yeah. Sometimes we could go into the Facebook account, we can see if they log in, when was the last time they log in, who are they communicating. So that is the kind of investigation that sometimes help us and assist and to locate some of these persons that are runaways.
Yeah. I'd like to ask, as it relates to the partnerships that the police department has with other social organizations or social departments, because I think in a lot of ways, while some people might view it as judgmental, there's a sincere concern as it relates to the breakdown in family structures, where you could have young girls or young boys just up and say, you know what, I'm going to go with my boyfriend, or I'm going to go with my friends. Is there some kind of partnership or some appeal, right, for the police department to work along with different organizations that can offer, whether it be support, any kind of support, yes?
Well, we do work with the Department of Human Services. They are the parts that we are working the most. Yeah. Almost on a daily basis, we keep in contact and communication with them.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the runaway, because it is them that who have to do a home study of the family.
Right.
Sometimes it is them that make a decision if the child is capable to remain with the family, or the mother is capable of taking care of the child, no?
Yeah.
And then they are taking it to other places. But sometimes we have seen that where the child is being taken, it is from there that they run away. Yeah. Sometimes you have to look at the condition that where they are staying and the kind of security that is provided to them at a different institution.
Yeah. I want to go through the process of, and I think sometimes we have people come here to report missing persons before they go to the police, and we inform them that they do have to make a police report. So let's talk to parents, to any person out there, about what is the best way to handle the situation when their loved one, adult or child, is not where they expect them to be at a time, right?
Well,
first of all, how long should they wait before filing the report?
As soon as the person, you know that the person is nowhere, you have no communication with them, we advise them to proceed to the police station, to the crimes investigation branch, and to make the official report. When the person arrives at the station, we ask them the basic questions that would ask anybody. The name of the person, if he's attending school, what kind of work the person is doing, what time he left from the house, what time he was expected to reach at the workplace, and especially the color of the clothing the person is wearing, the pants, the skirt, the blouse, the shoes. The family have to have this kind of information, because I will tell you that sometimes the person that is reported missing, we get vague information as to the description and the clothing the person is wearing, and that is the only thing that can help us at that time.
So know what your loved one was wearing. Pay attention every day.
Yes, pay attention every day too. You know, the school bag, if it's a school bag, what kind of school bag? You know, the tennis, everybody uses different kind of tennis and other things. Something that you can help us, that we can quickly assist us to identify the person. A watch, any marks on the person's body.
Tattoos.
Those tattoos, a ring. Those are the things that can assist us.
And pictures?
Yeah, of course, the picture. And sometimes we do get pictures, but we get pictures that are 3-4 years. You know, a person changes features every year. So we always ask them for a recent photograph of the person.
Preferably.
Yeah, preferably, yes.
Within a couple months.
Yeah, if it can be a couple months, yes, but you know, the recent one, it can be a week or 2 weeks. You know, people always are posting pictures, and we prefer to get the recent one, no?
I always find it to be of concern that sometimes when there's a missing person report, there's no photo, which means the family didn't provide one.
Yeah. But we do as best as we can to get a picture. Sometimes we have to go to the social media to download a photograph, and we place it on the missing person report that we prepare on every person that is reported missing.
So do you have to wait 24 hours before reporting the person missing?
Right.
No, you do not have to wait 24 hours. If you notice that your loved one is missing, as the minute you know that he is missing, you go to the police station and make a report. The 24 hours that we use is for us to prepare a missing person report, so that we can send it to other agencies so that can be aware of that this person is missing. But our protocol is that as soon as a person is reported missing, we pass this information to our police officers on the street, to our control room, to broadcast the type of clothing the person was wearing, the height, the weight of the person, the color, the skin complexion, the hair texture, everything. Full description of the person is passed to our control room, to our police officers, to bring the on lookout of the person. That is done immediately as the police is getting the report.
And how active, how much do you engage the public? Because in a lot of instances, sometimes it's people on the street who, if there's a database or if there's a website you can go to with pictures and information that someone could maybe assist.
Yes, the police it's in the police website. They have the website there with all the missing persons up to now that are missing. It has a photograph description of the person, when they were reported missing, and how long they have been missing.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure over the years you have seen where perhaps parents or loved ones have missed important details that could have helped. What's your advice? One, you said, don't wait 24 hours, come and make the report. The sooner the police knows, the sooner the police officers can be on the lookout before it's made public, right? What are some of the other things that you find that people really don't realize is important in order to track down their loved one?
It would be alarming if I tell you that sometimes the mother, the father, or even any family member does not know who are the friends or associates of the person that is reported missing. They are unaware of what they do every day.
Yeah.
We have met several circumstances where we meet students at certain places where the mother or the father is unaware that they go in these areas. And these are things that you have to familiarize yourself with your loved ones. You need to know what is their daily movements.
Yeah.
Not to keep track in totally them, but at least to have certain information as to, if you're not here, where else can I locate you? Who is your family? Who is your closest friend?
Yeah.
Who is the person that you trust the most? Who is the person that you chat the most? No, those are the little things that you need to know, because we can always talk to the other person that we can maybe get some other information from them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the kids or the missing person, they do not come and tell you direct to the mother, you know what, this is happening to me. They prefer to go to a friend.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is something that is happening very, very, very much.
And this is where I was talking about the breakdown in family structure, because if you don't know who your children's friends are, then clearly you're not having a conversation with your children. So what are some of the initiatives coming out of the Belize Police Department to ensure that there is that active awareness and sense of, I want to be involved in my children's lives, or I want to be involved in my family's life, so that if there is an instance where they do go missing, I'm not, up in arms, and I'm not completely unaware of how I can assist the police.
Well, you have the community policing unit of the Belize Police Department, and they do visit schools. They give them a lot of lectures, advices to the different students as to how to deal with it. No, even we have a person at the domestic office who, when family members go to give report, we encourage them and tell them more or less these are the things that you must follow. No, but it is very important that communication within the family exists.
Yeah.
And we have seen a lot of breakdown many times, that the mother, the father does not know where the kids are at the moment, no? And it's very sad, because so many things that is happening out there right now, and that if we lose focus on our kids, we don't know what might happen to them.
It's true. Now, let's talk about the search efforts and what triggers a search effort from the police department.
Well, as soon as we get the information of the person missing, as I tell you, we try to communicate with the family members, if it's a school, the schools, the students, so if they have any knowledge as to where this person can be. If, depending on the information that we get, we act on it. A simple case I can tell you about the case with Aaron Rodriguez. He went missing from the 24th of August, if I'm not mistaken. There was many information that was coming up. Yes, the police was following it up there. Every time the police got the new information, they went to the area where they said the person was, along with the family members. We have to go with the information that we get. Yes, sometimes the family calls and say, you know what, I heard my son was seen here. We go to the location, we talk to people in the area to see if the person was seen or he was there. Sometimes we get confirmation that yes, the person was there, so we follow it up. We follow up all the leads that we get as much as possible as we can. And we assist the family with the search the same way.
And how long do you search for?
As long as the information is coming, we will be there. We are there. So in the case where a person is missing for a month, let us say that after the second week, you do not get no other information. You contact the family if they have any update, if you contact any other friends, if they have heard anything, you check maybe the Facebook account and you say it's still inactive, then it puts us on a pause, because we don't have no other information. Where can we go? Unless something comes, then we follow it up from there.
So in cases where, let's say, you get no more tips, let's use the example of the rash children in the South. Is there ever a periodic check-in to see if you can find out what happened with the disappearance of the children?
Yes, it is still a case that is open. It has not been closed. There is still communication with the family and the people in the area, no? If any other information they have, and if anything else.
So it's not like a cold case that it just gets buried.
No. Many people believe that because the time has lapsed, the police just leave it like that, and no, we still follow it up. We have the case of our same police officer that is missing in Placencia for almost, I think, 7 or 8 years right now. He went at sea, and up to now nobody knows about him. We still follow it up to see if family members or any other persons have any other information.
Now, the issue, I think, with children especially, with social media, it has been very helpful to get information out. But I think a lot of times, and that's what I was saying with the judgmental, people hear a 13-year-old girl is missing and it's, oh, she run off with her boyfriend, and they don't worry about it too much. But the threats are different now.
Yes, it is.
What can you say to parents and to guardians out there about why they should take it serious if they don't, even if it's a 16-year-old, even if it's a 19-year-old?
Well, all of us are aware of what is happening in Belize City. And as a mother, as a father, we must be conscious that the security of our loved one is very important. So I have to put more interest on my child or my loved one, especially my daughter or my son that is out there going to school. I have to advise them as to, you have to be careful who you are, where are you going, because they go many places that we do not know. They say they go to school, but sometimes when we check, they are not at school.
Do you find that there are patterns as it relates to missing persons that the public can be aware of?
Well, to be honest, it is almost the same that, they spontaneously leave from the house. Nobody knows where they are. But after we do the information, we check with families and we check with friends. We get that, that they are with somebody. Most of the time it is with a boyfriend or the girlfriend or with another family member because of problems that the families are having. So they prefer to leave the family and go with another family without telling the parent or the family members what is happening.
That's for runaways, but what about patterns for missing persons?
It's almost similar, They just leave the house without telling anybody where I'm going. What is the reason? Up to now we do not know. But the most important thing is that the communication that you have to have, right? With other family members. Because sometimes we have had a person missing for almost a month. This family did not know where the person was. When we make checks and everything, we found the person at Corozal. He was about 2 or 3 weeks at Corozal with another family member. The reason why they did not inform the other people, only they know what is happening between them.
Okay.
Now, we know that there are quite a few risks associated, and with children in the country. And I want to talk about the human trafficking ring that we know takes place within this entire region. And I don't think that oftentimes parents consider that as a potential risk for their children. What are the ties that we have with counterparts in the area, agencies that look into human trafficking issues, and how vulnerable are we to this particular problem?
Well, I know that the Belize Police Department has a unit that deals with that specifically. And I know that we have very good communication with our Central American counterparts and in Mexico. As a matter of fact, we were dealing with a case, we successfully managed to get the persons back into the country because of the communication that we have with them. Some of the members have been trained. They always go abroad, especially in Salvador, to receive training in regards how to deal with human trafficking issue. Parents must be aware because, the child is vulnerable when they are out there, and there are many people that are looking at the advantage they can take from this person by offering money, offering things that the house cannot provide for them, telling we have better things for you, we plan better things for you, and sometimes if the person is weak, they will fall into the trap. So everything begins at the home, that we must educate our loved one as to how to deal with this situation here.
And sometimes these people even mask themselves as boyfriends to be able to get them out of the country. Especially
the issue with the social media, the Facebook, that you're being sent friend requests and you're accepting people that you do not even know. People portray another picture, put other pictures on the Facebook page, not knowing that who you're going to meet, and this is a serious problem that we are facing.
So that would be one of the patterns, because that's the perspective from where I was coming from.
Now, there's been a recent case of an alleged kidnapping in the north. And I think that has heightened the awareness of parents in terms of potential for abduction in general. What's your advice to parents as to what they should tell their children, especially the younger ones, about how to be careful? A lot of children in this country walk home alone, from as young as 5-6 years old, along with other children. What's some things that you can tell parents to tell their children to ensure their safety?
Everybody has to put their input in regards to this, because it's something that is affecting what's country right at this moment. We have been hearing about this white van appearing everywhere in the country.
Yeah.
It is something that we really have to take serious because we know one of these something might happen. But before that happens, we can always advise as to what to do. Simply that they do not walk alone. We always advise them to be in groups, 2, 3, 4 persons, because when you are in group, it's very difficult to deal with the entire group. When it is one person, is more vulnerable than with being with a group, no? To be cautious. Like say, we still have to go in the old days, you do not speak to strangers if you do not know the person. Pay them no mind, right? Do not accept anything from anybody. Sometimes somebody might give you a drink, you don't know what is in the drink. What will happen to you afterwards? Only God knows. So these are the things that we have to tell them. You have to work with more than one person. You have to be very careful as to who you are talking to, who call you on your phone, or who you get the messages or friend requests through Facebook and other things, no?
How responsive would you say has the police department been in finding and solving these missing person cases over the years?
Well, we have had good success. We have, of the 14 reported cases here in Belize, I think that we have about 9 or 10 that have returned. We have a few that are still missing. We have the case with Mr. Pollard. He is missing from the 4th of July. We're still there with the family now and again. We get the information, we go and follow it up. We have the recent one right now with Calvin Catus that has been reported missing from the 5th of October. Again, the family member has no information about him. The last time he was seen was sometime in the morning. That's all they can tell us.
What are, you hear missing reports fairly often. What are some of the red flags from the beginning? You said if they don't pack any clothes, that's one. But what are some of the circumstances early on that make you very concerned about a potential missing case?
Because that is something that the person does not do. It just vanishes all of a sudden. The reason why, sometimes you have to look at the environment where they live, the neighborhood where they live, the kind of work they are involved, who they affiliate with. Those are the things that we look. Especially when it comes to an area, it is in the heart of the gang area. Who you associate with, that's something that we really have to look at, no?
And what are some of the tips that you would give to adults who work in areas where they have to be gone for really long times or they're at sea? Because I know that a lot of missing person cases are persons who are out at sea.
Yes,
so what are some of the best practices or tips that you can give to persons who work in that area?
You see, communication is very essential. Yes, we know that at sea it's very difficult to communicate from sea inland, but sometimes they have the phone that is working. Not only that, but they have the Coast Guard base out there. The Coast Guard do regular patrols. They have other small islands. I don't see nothing wrong if you are at a certain spot that you just share the information, know your pass and check, so that somebody can know. The last time I saw this person was around here, but all of a sudden that you just vanish out of sea just like that, it is very difficult. You have many persons out there. The communication is something that we really have to implement, and we have to ensure that it's done.
And also take heed of the warnings too. Don't go out when there's a warning.
Well, people are reluctant. The first thing they say, it is our livelihood and we cannot keep, we cannot stop doing it. We have to go out there even though if it's dangerous for us or not. That's something with our people, no?
Now, looking at the assistance of the public, which I think we should always take the opportunity to say that the public is usually the one who can help to crack a case for anything if they share the information that they know. There was the Jasmine Alert that was set up by a separate entity. What is the current status of the police department being able to send out missing person reports to the wider public?
You see, the Jasmine Alert was created for kidnapped persons. That is solely for kidnap. The missing person is totally different.
Okay.
Right? We know if the difference, like I mentioned, the missing person was last seen at a certain location. There's no information that this person was grabbed or forced into some vehicle or against our will was put into some vehicle or somewhere and the person just disappeared. This missing person, somebody had last seen this person around here, and that is the last thing they know about the person. And that's the difference. Jasmine is only for the kidnapped persons, no?
So if there seems to have been some sort of abduction to take place?
Yes.
Do you think that there is a lackadaisical kind of perspective in our community, because it's very, we have a big country, a huge country as compared to a lot of the Caribbean region and even countries in Central America, and our population is quite small, but it's somewhat easy to become a needle in a haystack. Do you think that there is any way to encourage the public to be more proactive as it relates to this missing people?
Yes, I do believe, and I don't see nothing wrong if you have certain information to share it. If you don't want to tell the police this is happening, but you can find somebody else that can reach to the police.
Crime Stoppers?
You have Crime Stoppers. You even have your neighbors, the neighborhoods. You have maybe the pastor or the church.
Yeah.
Somebody that you can go and tell, I know this, but I don't want to go to the police. Okay. But since you have communication with them, I will give you this information and you can pass it on to the police. There are many places, entities that we can go if you don't want to come to the police. Because the longer we take, we might not save a life, or something might happen.
We might die of starvation.
So, if you know something about any of the cases, you contact somebody. If you don't feel comfortable with the police, you can use any of the other entities. You can contact a church or whatnot, relay the information. But most importantly, Crime Stoppers is designed for that anonymity.
Yes. And then you can also call 911 and give them information. We do not ask your name or anything like that.
Yeah.
No?
And remind the people of the website that they can go to with the database of missing persons.
It's the police department website. I think www.police.net.bz, something like that.
Okay. Can we talk very quickly about the white van scenario and what investigations have gone into that to legitimize whether it is someone out there on the prowl, or if perhaps it is an incitement of fear that you're seeing?
Well, we have received several reports in regards of our white van. It is very difficult for us because we cannot even get a proper description of our white van. There's so many white vans circling in Belize City. We don't know if it's a closed van, meaning a cargo van, if it's a passenger van with the glasses around, or if it's a small van or it's a big van. And that is the situation. No? The last one we received was day before yesterday at Holy Redeemer School.
Yes.
About a white van circling, attempting to talk to two minors, trying to convince them to get into the vehicle. As a result of that, police was placed in the area. The CIB personnel went in plain clothes to see if any reoccurrence, no? But I know that yesterday they established that by the community police officer that they are going to the schools and advise the kids, the student there, as to how to deal with a situation like that. This one, yes, we have information that has been circling many places in Belize City in the districts. But as I mentioned to you, we cannot get a proper description of the vehicle. All it's being said is a white van, but
And these are reports from the children?
These are reports from the children.
Okay. And no plates?
No plates. So we advise them that if at any time they have a good look at the vehicle, to try to remember the license plate, or even how the person, the person, we understand the person sometimes come out of the vehicle and try to talk to them, how the person looks and everything,
If I'm a parent and my child comes home to me and says something about this white van, and maybe I say to myself, I don't know if the kids are telling the truth, do I still tell the police?
Yes, it is advisable to still call the police, because kids are kids and we do not know. Because they might hear it from their friends and go tell them, Mama, I see this. But sometimes it happens to a friend. But we cannot take nothing just for granted, just leave it like that, no? It is advisable better, so we can have an information and we can follow it up from there.
So if your child tells you about suspicious behavior, just contact the police and let them know.
Yes.
And the school.
And the school.
Yeah.
Inform immediately the school, and then the school can get in contact with us.
Yeah.
We have a community police officer that deals with every school every day. So when they visit the school, they can pass that information to them.
And that's just in Belize City, or is it in all the districts?
It is in most of the districts.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell people about how they can handle missing person cases?
Is that when they do visit the police station, to come with the necessary documents, and very important, the clothing the person was last seen wearing.
Yeah.
And again, we must have communication with our loved one, and that family.
Yes.
Unity must be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here and talking about this, the missing person policy within the police department. I think people would be happy to know that they don't have that 24-hour wait. If someone goes to a police station and an attending officer tells them come back in 24 hours, What
No,
should they do?
They should report it immediately. That's why every missing persons, they go to the Crimes Investigation Branch office. You have an office countrywide. In Belize it is 24/7. We do not close. We have an office in each of the 4 sectors, the precincts. 4 precincts, they have a Crime Investigation Branch office that is open 24 hours. Sometimes, yes, they are attended by the uniformed personnel at the front desk, but then they must be referred to the Crime Investigation Branch.
So ask them to go to crimes investigation if they're giving them a hard time to
Hard
make that
time.
report.
Yeah, it is us that will take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I have my number if anyone want to call me.
Sure.
It's 610-5905. Any information that you have, you can share with me and I will look into that information.
610-5905. Send tips or even if they have questions as well.
Question to us.
All right.
Yes.
ASP, we appreciate you coming in and sharing this information. We know quite a few parents have been concerned since the social media comments about white van once again. So I think it's also important that we tell parents you need to have a conversation with your children as well about stranger danger, about being safe, and always knowing where they are as well. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate the opportunity and thank you very much.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by representatives of the Rotary Club of San Ignacio. Stay tuned.